And as you go down the hierarchy, you're increasing the surface area of the food, you're increasing the rate at which it will be absorbed into the bloodstream, and you're reducing nutritional value by exposing the food to heat, light, pressure, oxygen. And so the higher you can stay on the hierarchy, generally, the better off in terms of prevention and treatment of disease. Carbohydrate common sense, get carbohydrates from high fiber whole plant foods, avoid added sugars, especially in beverages, drink water instead, minimize all refined carbohydrates, both starches and sugars. Moving on to fat. What are the best and worst fat sources? Well, plant foods are the primary sources of healthful fats, such as mono and polyunsaturated fats, including our essential fatty acids. Highly processed foods, deep fried foods, fast foods, and animal products are our primary sources of harmful fats, such as saturated fat, trans fatty acids, and oxidized fats. And there's a difference between fat from whole foods versus concentrated fats and oils. High-fat whole plant foods are preferred because they contain a myriad of protective dietary components, like fiber, for example. By contrast, fats and oils are more concentrated in calories, they have fewer nutrients, they have no fiber, and we should be limiting our intake of these added fats, especially solid added fats. We want to cut back on saturated fat. The American Heart Association suggests under 5 to 6% of calories for heart disease risk reduction, which would be less than 16 grams in a 2,000 calorie diet. And so if we look at that, 16 grams is our absolute upper limit. You get at least that much or more from 2 slices of meat lovers pizza, a double cheeseburger, a soft taco with beef and cheese, and you've eaten nothing else all day. You're already at or above your upper limit. Even milk and cheese, if you ate 2 ounces of cheese and a cup of milk, you would be at 17 grams. So it's very easy eating animal products for the saturated fat to add up. And by contrast, if you look at plant foods, even high-fat plant foods are pretty low in saturated fat. So if we look at avocados, a half an avocado, nuts and seeds, tofu, olives, we're looking at about a half a gram to about 2 grams of saturated fat per serving. The only exception really is the tropical oils and coconut at about 7 grams of saturated fat per ounce. We also want to minimize our exposure to damaged fats. And we do this by avoiding fried and highly processed foods, minimizing oils in cooking. And if we do use a little bit of oil, do not allow oils to smoke. Store high-fat foods, including shelled nuts and seeds, in the refrigerator or freezer to preserve their important fats that they contain. We want to optimize omega-3s. We can do this by ensuring sufficient alpha-linolenic acid, about 1.1 grams for females, 1.6 for males, and we can double that amount if we don't consume any direct sources of EPA and DHA. The main direct source of EPA and DHA in the population is fish. And so if you're not consuming fish, you can consider getting a direct source of EPA and DHA from an external supplement. And if you take the supplement, then you wouldn't have to double the ALA intake. So plant sources of ALA, you get about 2.6 grams in an ounce of walnut. Walnuts, you get about, close to 2 grams in a tablespoon of flax or chia seeds, and about 1 gram in a tablespoon of hemp seeds. So that's fairly easy if you're using these foods to meet your ALA AIs. And plant sources of EPA and DHA, certainly EPA and DHA rich microalgae, which is available in supplement form. And I would say taking microalgae is well advised for pregnant and lactating women. For those who don't convert ALA to EPA and DHA very efficiently, like older adults, people with certain chronic diseases like diabetes, and possibly for everyone. This is still controversial. I think it's a reasonable choice, and generally 200 to 300 milligrams per day is recommended. Some people may need more. For children, it's usually about 100 milligrams per day.